what the? Oh, I like that.
Oh, you know what, bro? I just realized we've not started recording. That is kind of interesting. But no, bro, we can start it. But the audio is recording, so it's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, the audio is on.
Great.
The video is now on.
So what should we do? Like.
No, it'll be good, bro. I'll keep this in the podcast and it'll be funny. When we look back, you'll be like, "Oh shit, that's so funny." Trust me.
So yeah. So what is good about a podcast?
About that podcast.
About that podcast in particular is that you cannot expect like anyone in particular. It's like any kind of people in different types of in the industry. Like I don't know. I'm telling you, people from could be an actor, could be someone that loves tattoos, someone that loves video games, someone about that knows a lot about physics, for example. So you can find anything. Like if you love a certain type of topic, you'll find that in that podcast about anything.
I think that's like with most people, because I realize it doesn't really matter what you like. It just matters if you really, really like it, people will kind of like appreciate it. You get what I mean?
Right.
Like I feel if there's like a person who collects stamps or something, we'd be like, what? But I think if he loves it so much that that's his whole passion and stuff, so like you can kind of, I don't know.
Exactly. And you find a person that's like very into that, and you can have a conversation just about that or anything that is related to that topic in particular.
Yeah.
Which is great. Mm-hmm.
So, bro, tell me, dude, you've been here for a while in Kalamazoo College.
In Kalamazoo College, it's been like what? Almost 10 months, you can believe that.
Dude, I can't even believe it, because I feel it was almost yesterday we were welcoming you guys.
Yeah, I remember that first day when we were like, you were doing a role play and everything, how you introduce ourselves in the American culture, and I still don't get it. I've been here for 10 months, and I still don't get how these guys work.
Bro, but even if you don't get that, I feel you get some things, because I feel you have managed to, I don't connect with many people. Because sometimes I see you hanging out with this person, I was like, whoa, I didn't know Cristian knew that person, or that person, I was like, wow.
Yeah, so I mean, it's kind of the point here, like, hey, I kind of want to know you better. Like, can we talk about anything? That's the point. And in particular, when in my case, I find people like from my classes, because I teach Spanish, so I connect more with my students. And when I take language classes, I don't know, it's different from, for example, from my comp sci classes, for example, because I don't know, I feel like it's more individual. Like we keep working in our projects, in our things. Yeah, we do teamwork sometimes, but it's like, yeah. And actually, those people, I don't see them around. I usually hang with people like I see in the caf.
Yeah.
Like I see in parties, for example.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that's what I came for.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense. Do you think, so what would you tell people then, who maybe are just coming in? Like what kind of, I don't know, advice is kind of maybe a strong word, but I don't know. Would you say anything to even Cristian like 10 months ago?
If I had to say something to myself from 10 years, not 10 years.
I mean 10 months.
10 months, yeah, 10 months ago, would be like being less, I mean, well, it's not shy, but close to close mind, you know? It's not like I'm not afraid talking to this person, but what am I gonna say, you know?
Yeah.
You can say anything. You can say anything, but yeah, of course there's gonna be some kind of consequences, but you're gonna work with that, okay? And you, at least for me and for us, for the internationals, I think we have the excuse that we're not from here, so oh my god, sorry, I didn't know that was like something that we shouldn't be talking about.
But I feel you're speaking from personal experience.
See, yeah. So, okay. But I mean, but it was interesting. I mean, at least from my point of view, it's like you just need to connect with people when you actually hear them. You know, listen to them, what they want to say, what's their story, because I know people that they come from California, up north part of Michigan, Detroit, Chicago, Texas. So it's like, oh, you have different stories, but we all in the same place, and I noticed that they act different, and I can, gain experience from them. And also in the soccer club, we find guys that they're from different parts of the world, but we all love soccer. We all enjoy playing the game, and I've noticed that, and in parties as well, we're just having fun. It's just knowing people from that part of the world.
Bro, I've noticed that some people maybe have difficulty, like as you said earlier, you just have to kind of say what you feel, or like try not to be too like overthink. Like when I'm talking to this person, it's like, what will they say if I say this, or what will they think when I say that?
Right.
So how do you even now, even when I know that I should just say whatever I feel, kind of, or not filter myself, I find it difficult to do it sometimes.
Yeah.
So how do you do it, you think?
Okay.
Is there any, like, what's the
Yeah,
way?
yeah. I mean, like, of course, you're not gonna. There's some topics that are delicate, of course. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
you don't want to get in trouble with some kind of groups, but it's just like you gotta go in a curious mode. Like, oh, I don't know about this topic, but I wanna know. I wanna learn. So how can you? What can you tell me about it? What can you tell me about you? What are you into? Like, what do you do? What you like to do? And you can get involved in that. It's not that you're gonna no, it's not that you're gonna go to this person and say I'm criticizing it, saying like, hey, why are you like that? Well, I'm not like that, but why are you like that? You're just like you're like, oh, it's interesting what you're doing. Can you tell me more about it? Like, I'm curious. And you can get into that one. You're not really that. Let's say a concrete example, like, let's say like I knew this person. I know he's homosexual, for example. I'm not homosexual, and I'm like, oh, but it's interesting. What kind of things do you do? Like, oh, for example, this kind of conversation we have during dinner. It's like, oh, it's
Really?
like, yeah, it's like, hey, did you discover it? When did you realize that you're gay, for
Yeah.
example? And it's like, no, but it's because I'm curious. It's like, probably I have some friends that they don't really know that they're gay, but they
Yeah.
they probably having a bad experience because they don't know how to show it. They don't know how to be that open minded. So it's not like, oh, I'm not criticizing you. I just want to learn more because that's what I'm here for. And that's what I when I came. That's the mentality that I came with. Is like, I have no idea. I don't know what to expect. Kalamasu. The first time I heard that
Yeah,
in
it's
my
a
life.
funny word.
It's a funny. Was like, okay, let's come to learn from everyone, everything. What can I get?
But everyone, everything, like, don't you think because I don't know, these days I've been struggling with the idea that I try to respect everyone, like everyone, but I don't know, some people just kind of make it difficult.
Make it difficult. Oh, yeah, I know, but you're not gonna show it because, okay, if a person you see that person is doing something bad or that you don't like, yeah, at least from my point of view, I'm not in a position of making problems for that. But you can also talk with the person. I have friends that I notice that what they do are not correct sometimes, but that's why you can talk about it in a way like, in that, I don't know how to say it, but it's like, hey, what do you think about this thing? Like, but what if you see that homophobic attitude? Would you be agree with that? And he's like, I don't know, you can make them think what they really do is not good, and
Okay,
and it
okay.
can work. But some people they don't listen. So in that case, just move on. I don't know. It's complicated. I know, and I here when I came, I've noticed that uh, getting along with people, relationships, and everything, and every kind of relations, friendships. I don't know, are complicated. But
Really? Is it compared to Ecuador? Because our things, I always think our things compared to
hmm
Ecuador and here,
yeah, that's a good question.
like in anything, like more in
Yeah, probably.
relationships, I think.
Yeah, probably in general is, I don't know, but I've heard that it's not like that. We make it complicated sometimes because
Where,
eh,
here? You mean
no,
like,
in general. I'm saying
okay.
that it's not that different from Ecuador. It's not that different in terms of sociability, people, because, well, uh-huh. Here I've noticed that people are in their world. They're more individualist, and in Ecuador, you're gonna find groups. Always you're gonna find groups. There is no people going around by themselves. So you're gonna be in a group, and in that case, it's complicated to know someone in particular, probably. But yeah, sometimes you're gonna create your own group of friends, for example. But it's a group of 3, 5 people, and you're gonna share moments with those. But here, I've noticed that sometimes you're with this group of people, sometimes you're with other group of people. At least for me,
Yeah.
and that I think that's why they make it complicated. Sometimes it's
Okay.
the gossiping, like yeah, but it's been always like that. It's not that
Yeah.
different. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Bro, I also remember your changing topics, your performance in Quad Stock. I felt
Yeah.
that was very cool, bro. Like
Mm,
especially with Sweet Child of Mine and stuff. So
yeah.
what was that like? I feel I don't know. Had you performed on stage before?
And that's what I was about to say. Like it was my first time. My first time hearing a podcast. My first time performing like in front of that public.
Yeah.
Because yeah, I started playing guitar like a year ago.
Whoa, bro, that's very good progress then.
Not year. It's already 2 years because it was a year ago when I just got here. So it's not. I have not experience. In K Rock, I've met people that they're very into
Yeah.
music, and that's why I was like, okay, I will try my best. I'm trying to have fun because that's what I get into that. And it was fun. It was stressful sometimes because it's not just like I'm in K Rock. I also have my classes. I also have another type of projects, but it was very fun. It was very fun. You know, it was something that I wanted to do when I got here, getting more involved in things that I haven't done back home, not because I didn't want to or really have the courage to do it, but because I didn't have the opportunity to do it.
Mm.
Because, for example, back home, I there is no this opportunity to join a group of people that plays music and
Yeah.
like a K rock stuff and a club. They just have people that are musicians and they do what they stuff. They don't
Yeah.
have like performances and everything. But that's an idea that I wanna take that take back home.
Back home. So
Mhm.
maybe you'll start a band or something.
Probably, well, not a band, but something. Yeah, something
Mhm.
in particular. Yeah,
Interesting.
yeah.
I also remember, yeah, Mustafa told me the same thing, dude. He said even his university, which is the biggest in like his part of Africa, didn't have like a single music department or something.
Right,
So
right.
something like that.
It's cool, yeah, because I've talking with Mustafa about his university is crazy. It's
Why?
like
It's like so big, right?
it's big. He said like
100,000.
100,000 students. It's unbelievable.
Yeah.
200 students in just one class. Uh, it's I don't know. I can't. It's like in the movies, It's like people in stairs, just all watching to a single
Yeah.
professor with
I
a
don't know how effective that would
huge
be, man.
border. No, right? You
I don't
don't
know.
have
How
the
was your
connection.
university back home? Was it same
It's
size, bigger size?
similar
Similar to Kalamazoo?
to Kalamazoo
So
College.
small.
Yeah, it's not that big, but yeah, it's not that because you have that connection with the professor. So the biggest class will be like 40 students, 40, 50 students per class. That's
Mhm.
like the biggest class you can get,
Okay, that's good then.
which is kind of a professor can manage that,
Mhm.
so it's not that bad. I don't know about you, about you, about Nepal.
No, I don't know. I came straight to college here, so I don't know. I didn't go to college there.
No,
But my high school was small.
small, yeah,
My high school was small.
but all in English or it was like
Mine, uh, at least ours. Ours was a more like English centered thing. So
mm-hmm.
all our classes were in English, except we had one class in Nepali. So it
Yeah.
was like kind of like only the Nepali class was Nepali. So it's kind of like it
Yeah.
was the language was switched.
Yeah, because you told me that in your country they speak like not just Nepali,
Yeah.
they also speak different languages.
Like because my grandmother grew up speaking some other language,
Mm-hmm.
which is her own like small tribal language. Nepali is like more of a big language. Almost it's like a mini. I wouldn't say. It's like certain languages dominate sometimes. So it's like, when in Mustafa they speak French too, like Mustafa's area
Uh-huh.
in Senegal. So it's kind of like that language dominated them. So it's similar, like Nepali actually dominated our tribal language, kind of. You get what I mean?
Okay.
Because my people didn't want to speak it, but they kind of had to, since that was taught in
Uh-huh.
government.
Uh-huh.
So it's like,
But it's not that much. I mean, we will say like there's a number of of languages. Would you put it that in a number like
Yeah, like
how many?
120 or something.
100. Oh, that's pretty much. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that's cool. I mean, because your English is very well. I don't know when you start learning it.
No, no, bro. English. When people say like my English is good or something, I don't buy that, bro. Because I started learning from very young, so it was like like I learned it. And so
Yeah.
when you learn it when you're young, it's like it's not as difficult. It just happens. But when you are like older now, and like I think you're learning French or something, no, that's difficult.
Yeah. Well, compared to English, the French is kind of easier because we have that connection with Spanish.
Yeah,
That it's very very similar romantic languages.
yeah.
But yeah, this English it took me like 3 years to learn like an
Oh, that's so
intermediate, upper
good, bro.
intermediate level.
Yeah, but it
But
makes sense.
it was hard. It was hard because in my high school was not like it was not English. It was all in Spanish. But we just had one English class. Some
Okay.
professors were very bad, but some of them were like, yeah, they were really into it. They gave me the material and everything, the chance to practice with people, and yeah, and also I took like private classes because they were like, where I'm gonna practice, and so I got more into the world. But when I came here, it's not the same. It's not at all the same, because it's different when you have a professor of English. Because, I understand that when I'm teaching Spanish, when you're a professor, you want your student to understand you.
Yeah,
So you're not gonna talk like as a normal conversation that you're gonna talk
yeah, a
with
bit more simple.
with someone that already knows English, for
Yeah.
example. Yeah, and when I came here, to some people I didn't understand like
For English.
nothing. Yeah,
Oh
when
yeah.
I came here, that's what I'm telling you. When first time saying there's something, even now, there is like people like, oh, sorry, can you repeat that? I got nothing what you said.
No, no, yeah, no, I
Like,
get it. My mom and my dad say the same thing because they sometimes come here to the States, and when people speak, they're like, "Brr, brr, 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 brr." That's what they say.
yeah.
That's all they hear because it's like fast and something. But yeah,
Exactly.
makes sense.
But I don't know. I don't notice. I cannot notice like differences in accents at least within the U.S.
Really,
It's
some are very clear though.
some are very clear, but probably need more experience. But I'm not. I don't know. From Texas, for example, yeah, and in Michigan, there's a difference, but at least for me, it's not huge.
Yeah,
It's not huge.
of course, yeah,
Yeah, I don't know. Probably I have to get more. To be more here in the U.S. probably
yeah.
to get it like, because for example in Spanish
You can tell the difference between.
I can tell the minimum differences between, for example, Ecuador and Colombia.
Yeah,
For me, it's so different.
yeah. So no, it makes sense.
So
It's just
different.
exposure then. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay,
It's so different.
bro. Then, because speaking about languages, what's your like? How do you motivate yourself to learn, or like I don't know. I just think everyone has a different reason for studying. Some people just study because they're like, oh, I have to study, or
Yeah,
something like
I
that.
know. I've
But
noticed
since you've
that.
learned quite a few languages, I'm sure you could have just stuck with Spanish. So why did you, or like, what's your reason behind learning?
Well, first, when I started learning English, it was just like it was a requirement. I think in every single part of the world, it's a requirement. I think because
Yeah,
they say like, oh no, English is like the first language that you gotta speak because it's universal language.
yeah,
They
yeah,
speak it everywhere.
yeah, yeah.
And I like, okay, yeah, I got it. And actually, yeah, many books are in English if you wanna learn. I've been always told that if you wanna that good schools, good colleges are in the U.S. Like schools from the Ivy League, for example, they're really good. So you gotta learn English. You gotta learn English since you're very young. But actually, even when I have classes since I'm 5 years old, they were very bad. They were
Yeah.
poor classes. Poor classes. A start. I just started learning seriously when I got 15 years old, and I just this was my first time taking like private classes. That was like, I understand now how is learning a language is hard, but it can give you the chance to do this, for example.
Yeah.
And in French is the same. In the French is the same, and it's not just about language. It's more about culture, because when I talk in French, I've noticed that a way to say this is different from another way to say this.
Even in Spanish.
Even in Spanish,
Wow.
I don't. I've been talking with this girl about, in Spanish we have more creative ways to pick up lines, for example. Pick up lines.
Really?
In Spanish, we use this word like with these phrases like is literally. I'm gonna say literally.
Yeah, let me see.
Because it's
No,
like
say it in Spanish first.
in Spanish first.
Yeah,
Okay.
let me try to break it.
You
If I understand.
okay, yeah, you got some Spanish.
One class.
Okay, it's like mamita.
Mamita, that's like mommy.
Exactamente, you know that. Que buenas curvas y yo sin frenos, ¿sabes?
Yeah, sabes is like, you know.
It's like curves. Such a nice curves, and I have no brakes.
Wait, say that again in Spanish.
Muy buenas curvas y yo sin frenos.
Muy buenas curvas. Okay, like you have very good curves.
I
And then
have
what's the
no
last one?
brakes.
And you have no brakes?
Yo sin frenos.
What does that mean?
I have no brakes.
I have no brakes?
Uh-huh.
Oh, so it means you have good curves, I'm just gonna kind of go.
You see?
Okay,
It's like sometimes
I've never heard that in English, yeah.
They don't even have an explanation. They're just there.
Wow, that's good.
So yeah, I've noticed that they're common. There's comments to say in Latin America at least, but here they don't have that way. And it's not just talking language; it's also body language.
Really? Like, okay, show me some
Like
Spanish. Like what do you, or like Latin.
Well, not body language. For example, it's normal. I'm telling this every single day. It's normal to go and hug a person. At least girls, and a kiss in the cheek to say hello.
Really?
It's so normal. It's so common. So I don't know. It's just cultural. And in French, well, I'm not very into French yet, but they also have. And actually, Mustafa was this person that's okay. The phrase of the day. What is the phrase of the day? And then, this kind of phrases like, ojo por ojo, diente por diente, which is
Something's with eyes.
It's like eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. I don't know. It's like when someone does
something
bad to you, you take it back.
Yeah.
Revenge,
Yeah.
basically. And they have it in French. It's exactly the same. And those similar ways to speak, but using different words or something, you got it just from experience. You don't learn it in a class. That's what I'm saying. That's the most important, and the motivation, the inspiration to learn languages, to learn from people.
No,
and experiences, so I can know them better.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. In languages and in everything, in everything. I don't know, bro.
Good.
Yeah. It's very interesting that you're doing this,
Yeah, right. No, my thinking was, I don't know. I feel our conversations are interesting with all people, and then I'd like to see it in the future. I thought people would find it interesting.
Right, you must go to Ecuador someday.
Bro, I am gonna go to Ecuador, dude. I already know you, David, Ali, so.
Exactly, and I'm telling you, they're gonna come someone next year. I don't know, I'm not sure yet. But if someone from Ecuador comes next year, you should contact him to me.
Yeah.
You tell him like I need a conversation with him.
Yeah, dude, I wonder how that
him.
conversation is gonna go. I wonder if someone came from Nepal after I left, what would I tell them?
I don't
It'd be so
know.
interesting.
Yeah, but at least in next fall, 15. I've heard 15 students from here that are going to Ecuador. So it's pretty much,
dude. There's a lot of people going to Ecuador. Yeah.
It's pretty much. So I'm gonna still see some people when I got
Are they gonna be in your university?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
So I'm gonna see them in campus someday.
Whoa, it's gonna be interesting then.
Sometimes,
Have you traveled around a lot, except like the States and here?
Not really. I've been in Colombia.
Colombia?
Yeah.
Colombia. You hear so much about it, or at least I watched the Pablo Escobar documentaries.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like the worst. That's the only thing I can associate with it.
Yeah, it's complicated because when they have, it's different because they have these problems with drugs, this problem with the guerrilla, the revolutionary groups, and everything. So it's kind of a thing there, but I haven't been there much. I've been just visiting, but probably living there will be very, very interesting. Very interesting. One thing that I won't forget is, for example, just a small difference, but the pharmacies, they call it drugstore. So it's basically drugstore. That's a pharmacy in Colombia. So for us, it was like, what? Just use farmacia.
Wait, what do they say then?
They say droguería.
Oh,
La
interesting.
droguería, and that's really cool. And the accent, I love the accent. I love the music they do. You know, and but I want to live there, like doing the same experience here in Colombia.
In Colombia?
That would be awesome. And also Mexico, of course, Mexico.
Mexico.
I'm going to Mexico, of course,
Really interesting.
to try food. I've realized that they have the different colors of Doritos.
Colors of Doritos?
You know the Doritos, they have the blue ones, the green ones,
Yeah.
the red ones, the purple ones, the black ones, the white ones.
Oh,
the,
I don't know. I
the
didn't know
orange
white
ones.
ones.
Right?
Doritos, you mean the
Right?
chips?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where, in Mexico?
Yeah, in Mexico they have all that stuff. You know, in Ecuador we just have the green ones and the red ones.
Yeah.
Here I discovered that you have the blue ones. I tried them. I think they're good. I like them. But
Interesting.
I've heard that in Mexico they have all the options. That's good. That's good. And we also have the purple ones, right? But they're very spicy. They're very
Dude, we
spicy.
don't even have any Doritos, bro. We just have Lay's.
Where in Nepal?
Yeah, Nepal. And then I didn't even know like other types of Coke existed. I mean, I know there was Diet Coke, but yeah, there's like cherry Coke, vanilla Coke, something
Yeah.
Coke.
Exactly. So, well, that stuff is like, yeah. When I came here, I saw all the options they have in the store, but they were very expensive. At least for me, a Coke for like $3, and it's just a bottle that this size, not that much.
Yeah, something
Half
like that.
liter. Is
So
like, no, I actually don't need it. I actually don't need to try that. But at least in the US here, you can find anything, anything, and that's one interesting thing.
Yeah.
Because
Like, look at this room too, bro. Like, it's just there, and no one uses this room.
exactly. So
So,
you have this chance to do anything and to
Yeah.
get anything in the US. One thing that is really spectacular here is like anything you can think about, and you can get it. You can get it.
Yeah,
it's,
yeah, yeah.
It's very like it's weird.
Yeah.
You just have to type it on Amazon, search it on the internet, and you get it in your door 2 days later.
Yeah.
The next day you have it in your door.
Right?
It's
interesting.
the land of opportunities, money, and you can find people from every single part of the world. When I was in New York,
No, New York is crazy. Yeah.
the diversity there, the biodiversity, you know, people from
Yeah.
every single part of the world speaking different languages. So it's very cool.
Then would you like to live here?
Live.
America or no?
Yeah, but
Where would you like to live?
exactly, that's a good question,
And why?
bro. Living in Michigan I think it's tough.
Yeah,
It's
in the winter.
tough. Right now, outside it's like 30 degrees Celsius. I don't know in Fahrenheit, but above 80
Yeah.
Fahrenheit. But for me, I'm not used to it. It's like I'm suffering.
Yeah.
Sweating all the time. It's the humidity and everything. So summer must be painful.
No, summer
For
is
me,
tough.
at least painful in Michigan. I don't know in some in other states. And winter was also, I mean, it was great. My first time seeing the snow,
Yeah.
and it was great. It was great. I enjoy it. But so this happens, and actually, Chill helped me with that time
Yeah.
because I had to go to New York
Yeah.
for Christmas, so it was 25th December the 25th, just Christmas, and I had this plane from Battle Creek to New York to
Mhm.
LaGuardia. So I had this flight, which was delayed because of the ice storm. It's no ice storm, snowstorm.
Yeah, yeah.
They had that time, and it was bad. -60 was so cold. And yeah, I remember that just the day before, with some friends, we went to Best Buy just to buy PlayStation controls
Yeah.
during the snowstorm. That was
Right?
why. But it was the adventure to be outside, seeing the snow. But it was painful, at least for my face.
Yeah.
You were crying, and your tears got frozen very fast. So
What?
your eyes weren't able to open. At least in my case, it was like,
Okay.
no, I don't want to cry. I was getting anxious.
Yeah.
But it was the winter was so tough, and yeah, so my flight was delayed because of the snowstorm, and it was I needed to go in December the 25th, and I wasn't there was no way to get there on time because there was no Ubers, no campus safety. They told me like, oh no, we can't take you outside campus. We just work inside campus, within campus. I was like, oh, but it's in kind of emergency right now. So I was like, I was about to say like, oh, I'm gonna lose my flight. I'm gonna be late. I'm not gonna be in Christmas in New York.
Yeah.
Damn it and everything. But then I was like, oh, I have Chill. Let's call Chill because he's here. And he saved the day. He saved the day. He said, let's
He's a
go.
boss.
He saved the day. And he took me to the airport and made it on time. Yes, no, I owe him my life. I owe him my life.
Yeah,
He saved my vacation, at least 2 days of my life. He saved. So that's why I love him. I love him. I love him.
Yeah, that guy's good.
So for those reasons, I don't know. Michigan is dangerous.
Okay.
Dangerous.
Yeah, Michigan is dangerous. Then where would you live?
Where would you live? Probably south. I'm gonna try south next time. Probably
South of America?
south of the U.S.
Yeah.
California, Florida. I don't know, Texas probably as well.
But Texas is very hot.
Hot, yeah, yeah, yeah. But just to visiting, just to check like what difference there are, even in within the country, you can find different accents, different
Yeah.
type of people, different. But what's a constant? I want to find a constant. Like
Oh.
what is similar within all of them.
But then, can you do it then? Because you probably can't even find what's similar between all Ecuadorians. See? 'Cause
Exactly.
every Ecuadorian is different, no?
It's different.
What, is there some similarity?
Is there some similarity? Probably when we talk about politics.
But you all don't like politics? Or like you all
We all
don't like
have
them?
we have our preferences and everything, but yeah, what make us like unique? What politicians do to our country, for example, we all connect with that stuff.
Like everyone doesn't like the politicians.
Yeah,
Or like
we have that experience with politicians. So when something bad happens, for example, in Ecuador, the currency is the dollars.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but it was not like that before. So we
Yeah.
had this economic crisis, like in the early 20s, and
Early 20s as in when?
2000.
No.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. In 2000, just in 2000.
Yeah.
That's when we changed the currency because no more money. The inflation was so, and we changed that. Many families lost a lot of money.
Of course.
And yeah, just after that, many Ecuadorians like had to migrate because they needed money, they needed to work. Most of them went to Spain. We have like, yeah, for example, I have an uncle who's like,
Yeah, you told me.
has been in Spain for a lot of time, and she has his wife from there, and it's amazing because it just happened because he didn't want to. He needed to go there. He needed to survive, to win money.
Yeah, I think David told me the same thing. I think even he has relatives. So I didn't know so many Ecuadorian people have relatives.
You see, is that happened in the whole country, and those experience like connects us. And that's the constant, and the food. But yeah, I've noticed that some places, even in Ecuador, it's not that big. You just go down because I live in the mountains. If you go down to the beach in like the coast
Yeah.
part, they speak different. They act different. They have different preferences in food. But what we all have the same story in politics. The same story in those drama.
Yeah.
In that drama, yeah.
That's good.
I want to get that, and each country has its own thing. Like it's like, oh yeah, now I got that you're from that place.
See.
Yeah, and yeah, we talk about that in our class of French, for example. It's like, yeah, language is like the first way to express your culture, that where you're from. So probably if I see you, I have no idea where you're from. When you talk, I have a more clear idea. Probably when I hear you talking, like, oh my god, you're from this place for sure. You're from this place. That happens to me in Spanish because I have much experience in Spanish.
Yeah.
When someone is like, oh, I don't know. When I see someone, it's like, "Ugh, I'm not sure where is she from. He or she from.
They speak and they're like, oh, you're.
It's like, oh, okay, I know that you're from this place exactly. So
Interesting.
that's another thing. That's another way. Yeah, motivation for learning languages. Learning languages. Yeah, it was kind of.
Bro, but tell me right now, bro, why do you think we can't talk about girls on the podcast? Or like,
Why
why do you
we?
think it's dangerous?
Oh yeah, I was telling you.
Okay, at least tell me why you think it's dangerous. Because that's not dangerous.
Why?
Hopefully.
Because you see, you don't want. I don't want to say something that I should not say.
But why should you not say it? If it's your thoughts, what's
Okay,
wrong with your
let's
thoughts?
talk about that. Let's talk about.
You don't have to say it, but just the idea that there are some things that I can't say. But why not? It's like really my thoughts.
Probably in general, because probably I'm not.
Are they wrong?
It's more not wrong. Probably it's like my point of view. My point of view. But yeah, we can discuss it. Yeah, why not? Actually, but like giving names, no.
Of course.
No.
I understand. Yeah.
No names here.
Understand.
But like, yeah, what you wanna know about girls? Like,
I don't know, bro. I feel everyone has a different method, and this I asked to Chilo too, so I'll ask you too probably. How do you get girls?
I love that way to that question. You know, the way you ask it. How do you get girls?
From Mr. Senor Guasca. What's your theory behind it? Like, why should you get it? Like, what's the reason?
Yeah, they have this different approaches to the idea of getting girls. Sometimes it's not just it's not getting girls. It's just being yourself with girls, with friends and everything. And sometimes, yeah, I know that when you're sharing the moment with that person, you know that, okay, I'm having a good time with this person. I want it to be more. I want a bit more. I want it to be more. But sometimes it doesn't work, and you're like, damn, I put so much effort in this, and it didn't work.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, so I should not be chasing women now. I should not be going after girls. I just have to live my life. Okay, I'm gonna be focused on myself, and yeah, that's totally fair, and it's good. And actually, it's what I'm doing right now. But how do you get girls when you see, for example, let's say that I'm in my party. I'm in my party right now, and I see this girl, and it's like, okay, she's interesting. She looks good. Let's go say hi.
Yeah.
Let's talk about something like, how you been doing? Enjoying the party? Like, talking about what I'm doing. I'm teaching Spanish. Some Spanish. That's all. That's always words like, hey, you wanna learn some Spanish? I have some
Spanish pickup lines.
Spanish pickup lines, yeah, or and anything, yeah, exactly. That works, at least for me, for my friends. Like, we can mention Ruben, of course. He's been like that the whole year. He's like, this girl. Let's talk. Let's say this. Let's teach her Spanish. Let's teach her Spanish. And yeah, it's like girl after girl after girl, because sometimes it's just like, okay, I'm talking with her. I've noticed that it's not working. Okay, cut it. Next. And for me, it's more like I need to spend a lot of time doing that. I prefer to be like, okay, let's not just be after women. It's just being around with people and noticing like, okay, I see that you are interesting. Let's hang out. You don't want, okay, it's fine. But it's not the idea of getting girls. It's just the idea of being comfortable with someone.
Mm-hmm.
And the idea of being comfortable with someone, sometimes takes time. But when I came here, it's like, what I have, like 1 year.
Yeah.
So I have two options. I can spend in the 1 year suffering or overthinking two person,
Yeah.
or I can just go say hi. Hey, you want to learn Spanish? Okay, it's a good, fine. Just knowing people and with sharing experiences and having experiences with people. And sometimes I'm not, yeah, and it started first. Sometimes I'm like, I just want to be with myself. I just want to be with the boys. I just want to play some soccer, play some volleyball, and spending time, yeah. And so that's how it works because, yeah, I've been hearing this a lot these days. It's like the more you get involved in your things, like showing yourself that you are totally, how you say it, confident with what you're doing, what you're saying, and everything. You're done. You don't even need to be thinking or be stressed about getting women, or not just getting women, getting anything. Because even when you're doing what you love, what you like, people will notice it. People notice it. And you're gonna be like, oh, this man is doing good. This man is doing good. But yeah, that doesn't mean that you're not gonna avoid women, of course,
Yeah.
no. But being yourself with people.
When being yourself, people say being yourself. I always think to be yourself, you have to have like you have to care about the small few things and not care about like the rest of the things. It's kind of like I don't know. To be yourself, it's like if I really really like soccer, that means I won't really care about what other people think when I practice soccer or do something silly or like eat healthy all the time or something like that. You get what I mean?
Uh,
So it's like I feel being yourself, you have to care about the small few things and not care about the rest. Would you agree?
uh, yeah. For example, yeah. For instance, the example of soccer. Yeah, I mean, you love soccer. You like soccer, but your life is not soccer, right?
Yeah.
So you also doing more stuff. You also doing more. Because I know that you play the guitar, for example.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You can talk about that, and then you can talk about actually talking
Yeah.
and knowing what the other people they love doing, and sometimes sharing the same place with that person, not actually doing what they do, but being with that person. In the example that, for example, yeah, you can invite her to see a soccer match. I don't know, or you can go to with this girl doing something that they both like or that she likes. Or next time they both go to someone that some do something that you like. You know what I mean.
Yeah.
Was that
Yeah.
what you
Something
were
like that.
expecting?
Yeah. But I also mean like even for like ourselves, like where does because it's I find it difficult to sometimes not care what people think or like do your own thing. You get what I mean? Sometimes it's challenging because you always think, oh, what will they think or what will happen or something like that. So how do you like what do you do to not think you think or like
That
not
process
really
overthinking.
yeah
That
like
process
of
overthinking.
canceling out that process of overthinking.
Yeah, so you're struggling with this thing like, oh, I wanna do this, but there's some judging around
Yeah, yeah,
probably,
yeah,
right? But sometimes I've learned this recently. You don't even have to care about what they think. If you're not doing something bad to other person, if you're not hurting someone, and actually you're saying that what you're doing is helping you to develop character, for example,
yeah,
like improving yourself, like growing as a person, then why not doing it? And, it's just, and if people don't like what you're doing, okay, or they saying like, oh, stop doing that. I don't. Oh, that's this person is doing that, and I don't like it. But it's like, well, but probably now you don't like it. Probably they're jealous. I don't know. But if you like doing that and you're saying that it's gonna help you, there is no other reason why don't doing it, right? There's no other reason, and at the beginning it's gonna be hard because I know that feeling is like, okay, I shouldn't be doing this.
yeah,
I don't have the enough motivation or the enough energy. Sometimes it's just discipline. If you want to get something, it happens to me. It happens when, for example, I want to go to the gym. Sometimes I don't really want to go, but I'm keeping myself constantly going. Even when I if I sometimes I just go to do a 30 minutes jogging in the treadmill. or doing an abs workout for 10 minutes. It's just going, being there, seeing that you're constant, that even that you don't care what they will say, but you're still doing it. You're constant on it. Because I hear like, oh yeah, you just go like 10 minutes. Why did you go? Or like, hey, are you sure you're doing leg day?
Yeah.
You sure you're not skipping leg day? I see that you have big upper body, but would you care about your lower body at least? You think about it like, yeah, I'm caring about that, but today I'm working on my arms. Tomorrow I'm gonna work that on that on my legs. Yeah, and I'm sure because I know that I need to work that as well. So people love. I That's why I'm telling you, people love talking about odds people, but you gotta be confident with yourself, what you're doing or why you're doing that. You
Mm.
keep that in mind, and the overthinking will disappear. So will not disappear. It doesn't disappear, but it's gonna be smaller and smaller and smaller.
Mm.
Like, okay, let's, yeah. In a words, like, fuck it. In a
Yeah.
words, like, fuck it. Let's do it. Like,
Yeah.
if there is no physical reason, is a huge reason that for not doing it, then why not?
Mm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I can take that, bro. I take that.
Exactly. It is what it is.
Mm. Or do you think that, I don't know, everyone can be that way?
Everyone, of course, no.
Or is it, what do you think? Like, because some people I feel are very confident and, are like, are doing their own thing, but some people care too much. So, what do you think about that? Do you think people are like different in
Yeah,
that sense, or can it be learned or something?
it's not a thing that it's those type of thing that you sometimes you learn from life without even noticing it. For example, yeah, I know that it's hard. It's difficult when you don't try. For example, you don't try. I know cases when people just are in their world. They don't even try. They don't care. But there is a point in your life when you will need to do it. You will
Yeah.
need to take yourself out and do what you need to do, even when you don't like it. Because something you don't need, you need to survive. You need to. The human being is a social being,
Yeah.
and in this world, you need to work hard or smart. Let's say smart
Yeah.
to get what you need to survive in life, which is money most of the time. And after that, you're gonna be very confident with yourself. Well, not confident, but let's say happy, because that's what they say now. That money is happiness,
Hmm.
right? So in that term, yeah, being happy. That's the goal, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I know. So people these days they even have like these problems of, and yeah, and it's very complex. It's very complex to say like, yeah, they don't work on it, and they have this sometimes mental issues, traumas from the past. They don't let them do this kind of things, and in those cases, just help from other people. Is help from other people, because yeah, it's complicated. It's complicated. I know that when I'm talking about this, like, okay, it's easy to say it, but it's not
Yeah.
easy to apply it, because everyone has each own story
Hmm.
behind, and you don't know about it. But sometimes hearing that, or knowing that you're not alone, or that you are actually doing something for your life, or just having the idea that now is now is like, we're just having conversation. I don't even know what's gonna happen tomorrow. I don't What happened yesterday happened, I know, but I have this tomorrow. What can I do with it? What can I do with that thing?
Hmm.
And it's just that part of recognizing if that what I'm doing is not is I'm enjoying what I'm doing right now,
Hmm.
and is that does that worth it what I'm doing right now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's that.
Bro, you said that you learn sometimes from experience, life, without even kind of noticing.
Hmm.
Have you had any personal experiences you think that kind of, or like, oh, after that you became, like there was a big growth?
It is not a big growth. Sometimes it's just
Small, small, small.
small steps. Uh, language again is one of the most clearly examples. When I came here, I understood nothing, and making mistakes when I'm talking, having problems with pronunciation, for example. Actually a good example. People is like, I'm not very confident talking a different language because the pronunciation I'm gonna sound weird. They're gonna laugh at me because I'm not pronouncing the words correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a couple of friends with that problem. And it's like, yeah, when I came here, I'm telling you, I needed to use the English. It's not
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm sorry, you're not gonna talk to you in English because I can't. I'm afraid that I'm gonna pronounce it not correctly. But it's like, okay, I have to try because I need to buy this,
Yeah.
or I need to do my taxes. I need
Yeah.
to do, I need to use my English, what I know. And in those cases is what you need, what made me grow. And at some point it's like, okay, I got it, I make this mistake, but yeah, I got it now. I'm gonna improve. That's how I improve. Now I can like I can use more words, be more confident when I'm with what I'm saying in English.
Mm.
And that's another experience. And yeah, with girls, of course, with girls, like knowing that, oh, what I did this time is not, it's weird when it's normal to, for example, to see old chats while you've been texting like yourself a year ago, like,
Yeah.
was I talking, did I talk like that before? Was that me?
Mm.
Is that me? And it's, yeah, that's how you notice that you change. And actually the way your cosmovision, like what your perspective of the world,
Yeah.
that change every single day, every single time you meet a new person. And that
Wow.
changes a lot. Yeah, for example, when I met you, it was like, Nepal. Yeah, I've heard that name before, but
Yeah.
I didn't even know that they have like like people talking English, for example.
Yeah.
And they will be interested in coming to America, to Kalamazoo. It's
Wow.
it's very easy. That's how I could say that. That's the process of growing, learning. I think that, and actually that's my goal, of in life, in general, just learning. What can I learn? It's just learning and applying, learning and applying, learning and applying, which
So it can be anything, or is it any like more related to certain things?
can be anything.
Even maths?
Even maths. That's why I say learning, applying. Sometimes applying is not just creating a thing. It's more. It's just can be teaching. Can be teaching, talking. You know.
Mm.
And what can you give from one you know, for example? And that's a question for all that they will listen at some point. It's like, what can you offer to the world? But don't feel like the pressure of like, oh,
Have to.
I have
Yeah.
to do something for the world, otherwise I'm not living, or I don't deserve to be in this world.
So what do
It's
you do it for, if
it,
not for the world?
exactly, that's when so you have to, as like, oh, I love doing this, and I can share it with people. What I love doing, I can share it with people, and they
Yeah.
can just learn. And I'm not stressed. I'm just doing what I love, and people will see, and probably I'm inspiring someone doing that the same thing, or just saying like, okay, yeah, right. This he looks like he's enjoying doing this thing. He's living. I want to live it the same way he
Yeah.
lives. I want to do the same, or
Mm.
with my stuff. Probably not playing guitar, but playing the trumpet. Probably not playing soccer, but swimming. You know,
Yeah.
it's not probably making music. It's painting. Could be acting. That's the thing. That sharing the fire. That's what I learned in high school. be a fire that
Yeah.
turns other lights. You know,
Mm-hmm.
be the candle that turns on the other candles.
Mm. Okay then, bro. Speaking of that, I just realized 1, 2, 3. Okay, we can start now. But could you give me an introduction? Because I didn't even ask for your introduction. Could you give me maybe your name, a bit of your story, background, who you are, or what you'd like people to know?
The introduction. Okay. Yeah, my name, Christian. Christian. My last name, it's a very Ecuadorian last name.
Uh-huh.
You can if you can say it, it's good. If you cannot, it's good as well. Guasgua.
Guasgua.
Guasgua. What does it mean? I've heard somewhere. It means warrior in native language.
Warrior.
Warrior, yeah, in native language from Ecuador, and but I don't know. Yeah, warrior would be a good a good way to describe how I live.
Really? That's
So
good, man.
yeah, if you wanna something like a word to describe myself, warrior is good. I think warrior is good. And yeah, Christian from Ecuador, and I love swimming. I love soccer. I sports in general, but I'm more into swimming, volley, and soccer. Math major. I love maths, and I love computer science. Yeah, I'm here in Kalamazoo College for study abroad, 1 year, and I took very interesting classes in math and comp sci, very hard as well.
Mhm, of course.
But the people I met here, unforgettable. So yeah, that's the introduction I can give you.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
and thanks for inviting me. And being here, it's a new experience.
Yeah, right.
First time in a podcast. I
Still,
said.
for me, it's still a new experience. Like hearing my voice, it's weird. It's so, yeah.
Right, yeah. With this, it's weird. You can just hear your voice and the other person's voice. You cannot hear anything else.
Right?
Anything else.
Yeah. Okay, bro. Then last thing before we go, I always ask this, because we're gonna look back probably in 5, 10 years this thing, or at least that's my goal, to look back in 5, 10 years.
It's a good
So
way.
if you had a question, or like if you had something you wanted to talk about in 5, 10 years, what would you talk about? Anything. It can be anything, man. Smallest thing, biggest thing.
What, like a message for me in like 5 years
Yeah.
from now?
5, 10 years. How are you doing, Christian? Something like that.
Yeah, are you doing things great? It's like you're still suffering. You know what I'm talking about. When
Yeah.
you're still suffering for that thing, don't suffer for that thing. I assure you, it's gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine. I hope you're fine. Tell me how you are emotionally, and after that, tell me how you've been doing. How's the project? Because I have in mind some projects. Tell me if you've been working on that, or otherwise, it's time now. It's time now to start the project that we have in mind. That's the message.
That's good. The project seems interesting then.
And actually, a podcast was one of those projects that I've been thinking, like, but from a certain topic, is because I don't know what's the topic of this podcast in general.
No, I just try to say whatever I feel.
Right?
But what were you planning?
Exactly. That's because I have a friend who has a podcast, but it's just a swimming podcast. Like, he invites people that swims and share their experience, why why are they into swimming,
Yeah.
how they start, like recommendations and everything, what's the goal and everything, the goal they have, and what the competitions. Tell me stories about your competition outside and overseas, for example. And yeah, there's podcasts from business. I've heard that there's a lot of podcasts of.
So what would you like to open up?
Exactly, that's what I'm asking to myself now, and probably.
Like whatever you like, I think is the.
Exactly. But I know.
So you said you like swimming, volleyball, soccer.
Yeah, but I'm not thinking to open a podcast for sports, for example. It's not my main topic. Probably, I don't know. But science, for example, will be something great, or just a part of life, for example.
Really, science?
Yeah,
Like what?
there is. Well, but talking about science could be boring sometimes. But yeah,
No, bro. I realize as long as the two people talking find it interesting, someone else will somehow find it interesting. 'Cause
exactly.
You don't have to be interesting to everyone.
Exactly. And I know people from YouTube channels that they enjoy talking about physics. or math, and they make it really, really good. They make it really, really interesting, and that's the way you can inspire people to learn it. That's also another thing that I want to apply, the teaching through podcasts, audios that you can learn, that you can teach through that. So that's why I'm like, I want to do a podcast like about, I don't know. I don't know. That's what I've been thinking too.
So if there was a podcast on like science or physics, like what kind of questions would you discuss? Would it just be like, what would it be?
Yeah, like we need an expert, for example, in differential equations, an expert in topology,
Whoa, that sounds. I don't even know what they mean.
And an expert in geometry, in differential, in calculus, an expert in statistics, because math is so open up. They have many branches, and you can talk about that. Even within a specific topic, you can find different theorems. Like, in calculus they have the intermediate value theorem. They have like integrals. You can talk about that. But at least from me now, I don't have to try to talk about that in like to make it interesting, for example. Because it's not just with math, at least it's not just talking, it's visualizing. See what you write. The integrals, you just on differential, that you can just see it with functions while you're drawing it, for example, at least in the beginning. And there you can just do it abstract in your mind, but at the beginning you need those visuals. So that's why something's complicated.
Yeah, dude, because I realized podcast is pretty easy actually, because it's just audio and maybe you put in the video. But if you have to start editing videos and you have to start like making YouTube videos, that gets more challenging, more time consuming.
So I've been thinking more about podcasts about also, which is also easy to do, just like a biography, like autobiography. Like when I was 5 years old, I've been doing this. What do you think? I've been doing this like a.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like, for example, a chapter will be myself when I was 10 years old. But it's just me talking with myself.
When you were 10 years old?
When I was 10 years old, I was doing.
But have you done it when you were 10 years old?
No, it's like, for example, I grab my phone and I'm just recording my voice, remembering what I was doing when I was 10.
Oh.
That would be a chapter, like, okay, I was doing this. But I don't know. I will have done this instead, right?
That does sound interesting.
Or just talking about my mental issues, for example, because mental issues are also another topic that is very, very has many branches.
Yeah.
And just talking like, I came up with this idea. We can just talk about schizophrenia or Alzheimer now. Talking about those stuff, like.
Yeah, actually, I realized, mental health, people, I don't know, people talk about it in a strange way, I think. Like, some people completely say, oh, mental health, that's silly. And some people say, oh, mental health is kind of like everything, or everything is dependent on mental health. And I think maybe the answer is more balanced. Because we're learning psychology or like at least in the psych class, I feel some of the concepts are like too deterministic. Meaning like, if you're genetically likely to feel sad, you'll feel sad all the time or something like that, like it depends more on your genes or something. And I don't believe that, so I don't know how mental health is taught or like what you think about it, but
right. I mean, that's, for example, one thing that I didn't know, and probably it will be easier if we invite someone that is more into psychology. And talking about mental health, that we will be someone that is more into this sickness, Alzheimer, as I said, or depression, which is like something that is very, I don't know, it's one of the most
very prevalent, man.
One of the most common issues that humanity has now. Talking about that will be interesting, but clearly probably is more about talking about anything, but each chapter, like, okay, this time we're gonna talk about.
That could actually be
we're gonna talk about sports. I have someone that loves sports here, and let's talk about sports. Or next time, I have someone that loves video games. Let's talk about video games. I have someone that loves music. Let's talk about music. That's very interesting. That's why I love the podcast that I'm watching, because that's the idea of him,
Everything, right?
and it became very popular because you can find people that it's like very into that stuff, and sometimes they're famous, sometimes they are YouTubers, or like, yeah, why are you getting into YouTube? What would you say to people that they want to become famous through YouTube? Um, that's very why that's why I like it.
Yeah, I think with most things I realize you just have to like try them out as quick as possible, or like just not wait too long, or not, because I wanted to do a podcast like a week or two ago. Then I knew if I said, "Oh, I'm gonna plan, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna wait, I'm gonna do this," it's no. But you just have to be like, okay, today, tomorrow, day after, I must do it within these days.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes your fire burns out. So it's like I wanted to make a video, and I kept on editing it, and now it's like I don't know where it's gone. I've not done anything with it. But this I just started. I'm like, okay, I'm on a roll now. So
Yeah, once you start, you should. Yeah, something's hard to start, but it's even harder to be consistent,
yeah,
persistent, continue doing that thing.
I don't know. I think like physics is pretty right too. Like once you get like I don't know, there's a law of physics, no? Like once you're in motion,
Yeah, motion.
it takes more effort to stop you actually.
Exactly, inertia.
Yeah. So it's like momentum is crazy, bro. Because if you've not gone to the gym in a while, it's like, whoa, how can I go to the gym? But if you have been going to the gym every day, like when you miss a day, you're like, whoa, something's wrong with me.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So
Right, exactly, and being consistent, and that's how everything works in life. That's how everything works in life. Having an idea, knowing how to apply it, and being able to continue, and or finding the smartest way to not just keeping up, but making it growing, make it grow,
yeah.
and share it with more people.
Over here, I realize it's so crazy. You don't even have to know how to do it. You just have to know someone who knows how to do it. And it's like, you just ask them. They're like very willing to help.
Mm-hmm. And
Like,
you
of course, I
learn
like,
from that person, right?
right?
Because you're not just gonna say like, okay, I'm gonna pay you for you to do this.
Yeah.
You're gonna do that once you have the enough capital to do that.
Yeah.
Or when when you feel like, okay, I don't need to learn from this topic, but I need this service, so I'm gonna pay you to do that. But sometimes you really like to know what they said about or something, so you're learning from that person, and finding someone that knows that. That's the interesting part.
Right. So that's good, bro.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's hard to start a podcast. You know, I've been having this idea for over a year or more, probably.
Bro, the trick is you just have to, like, like, you have to give yourself a time. It has to be a very short time. Like, the shortest time you think you can do it in.
The shortest time?
So it's like, imagine you have an essay. So the way to finish the essay in a good way is actually to give yourself the shortest amount of time you think you can finish the essay.
Right.
So I say, okay, 40 minutes, you're going to finish this, and then it'll kind of get finished, surprisingly. Like, if you set a timer or something. So with
Right,
the
right,
podcast,
right.
I don't know. Like, maybe not right now because you are about to maybe leave, but when you get back, you can be like, I'm going to do something between this week or something.
Right.
Or something like that.
Yeah, sometimes it's just laziness.
Yeah,
Sometimes
100%,
it's
bro.
just laziness. It's because I have the idea, I have the phone there, but it's like, I can do another time. It's not an emergency now.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is. If you see that probably tomorrow you don't know if you're gonna be alive.
Yes, bro.
It's an emergency in a way to say it. That's why because even in Spanish, I mean, it's my first language, so in Spanish I have more ways to express myself or what I'm thinking, for example, that is more deep in my mind, and if I can share that with other people, I probably I can understand or realize that I'm not the only one having those thoughts.
Yeah, of course.
Having those thoughts. Probably I was about to say like, okay, let's record about what I just dreamed. There's a recording saying I tell the story of my dream.
Yeah.
And after I can hear and I say, okay, that's what I was dreaming when I was like 20 years old.
Yeah, right? It's so good.
Mm-hmm.
Like today I woke up with a dream too, actually. And I realized, I don't know, your dreams are
You remember what is it about? What was it about?
No, I don't remember what about, but I remember like the vibe. I remember the energy. It's kind of like it was not a good dream. That I remember.
Okay.
And I realized that's why people back in the past, like thousands of years ago, used to like dreams are really signs or something. Because I don't know if it's a subconscious or something. Because I had an essay that I've not finished,
Okay.
so it's like my brain was kind of like it was playing on my mind. I realized, so it kind of woke me up early. Because normally I don't wake up that early, but it just the dream. I just woke up early, and I wasn't feeling good. I knew it was not a good dream, so it was like, whoa, what's this happen? And I was like, of course,
Yeah, it's complicated because
the dreams is
at least me, I have uh, a year. I was in an age that I was like just my dreams were just the apocalypse.
damn.
I was just dreaming about the end of the world every single day, a different way to that the world ending. I was like, what's happening? I'm is something wrong with myself? Um, but just I had to roll those dreams because they were very powerful, and I have the feeling of, okay, I am alive now. I am alive,
Yeah.
thank God. But
You said you wrote them down.
I wrote them. I wrote those down. Yeah, I have them in my computer.
Yeah.
But there's not just a couple, and there's other ones that are really weird, because just for example, me becoming an animal,
Yeah.
those kind of dreams, like, or me flying over the moon, those kind of dreams,
So
or
do you think they had any meaning, like those dreams?
I don't know, probably I don't know, but I want to find out someday. But sometimes it's just like me with my crush having the perfect date,
Of course.
having the perfect date,
Of course.
and with a happy ending and everything. You
Of
know
course.
what I mean, of course.
Yeah.
Something, but what does that mean? That just means that I like this person, that I
Yeah.
like her, that she's my crush. But when I'm dreaming, me being a giant lion that is fighting with a wolf
Mm-hmm.
in front of my yard, and at midnight, and after that, me the huge lion becomes a person, becomes a person, and now I'm with this girl, and we sit in the yard to watch the stars.
Oh, the dreams of many girls, do they?